I wanted to take a few minutes today to talk to you about the Advent Challenge. You might have noticed several weeks ago on the Church Growth blog, I wrote a post about the Advent Challenge and inviting all of our churches to participate in it. So if you haven't read that post yet and you're wondering what the Advent Challenge is, it is an invitation to experiment with evangelism during the month of December. And it's specifically about inviting people to Advent-related events that don't happen inside the church building or anywhere on the church grounds. Instead, these would be events most likely in people's homes. Advent is often a wonderful time in the life of the church. It's a time when there's special music and worship, and the sanctuaries have different decorations in them. We go through wonderful scripture cycles that lead us up to the birth of Christ. Advent's a great time, and it's usually a really great time as long as you are somebody who's already coming to church, because most of the things we do for Advent happen inside our church buildings. And what we know for sure these days is that our evangelism needs to include not just invitations to our buildings, but it needs to include us going out into our neighborhoods and into people's lives as best we can to share the good news there with them, and to see what God's already doing in people's lives. And we're going to have to go outside of our church buildings and our traditional ways of doing things to make that happen. Advent is a great time to me to do that because we have some wonderful resources to draw from and a good spirit about us usually during December. And there's more of a community spirit around. People are used to being invited to people's houses during the holiday season, so it's not quite as unusual a thing to do. When I say that we have resources for this, what I mean is that we have lots of traditions in the church of things that we do during Advent that we could carry out into our neighborhoods and do in private homes. For example, many of our churches do Advent workshops for families and children where they come and do crafts related to Advent, maybe making Advent wreaths or calendars or Christmas ornaments, and usually that's something that happens in the fellowship hall. Well, there's no reason that couldn't happen in someone's living room on a smaller scale or in several different people's living rooms in several different neighborhoods. So that would be an Advent Challenge event where you would have an Advent workshop or a party in your house and invite people who would include church members, but also people who are not members of the church. Maybe some folks from your neighborhood, maybe somebody from work, or somebody you know through some other facet of your life. But the key is, or the several keys are, it needs to not be in the church building or on the church grounds, and people who are invited need to include some people there who are not already church members. If you do those two things, then you will have met the Advent Challenge. And I guess the third part of that is I would really like to know what you do. So if you decide to take me up on the Advent Challenge, I hope you'll let me know that either you're going to do it or that you have done it, and then tell me how it goes for you. What did you do? What was the response? Did people come? Did folks enjoy the event? And what did you learn from it? How could we do this differently or better in the future? My hope is that we get used to doing more things like this. We'll be thinking more like this year-round and not just during Advent. Always thinking about how we can take what we're doing in the church and bring it outside the church, into neighborhoods where people live their daily lives to meet their real needs. So please do be in touch with me. You can call me, you can email me, you can drop by the office. Let me know how it goes for you and what we can learn from it. I wish you well with the Advent Challenge.